Hi, everybody. Hello, everyone. Lovely to see you here. Happy Monday. It's the second day of March already, and time is speeding ahead. And I know we're all going to feel the presence of the speeding up this year, and a lot's going to be happening. A lot's packed in energetically. It's a minefield. This year. So it's going to be one of those very, very interesting years. So I'm excited. I'm excited about it, but it's I think it's not going to be a necessarily easy one for everybody. So and tomorrow is the lunar eclipse, so that's going to be a really also another energetically intense day. So if you're a person who feels the energies, and some of us are more sensitive than others, then just get quiet tomorrow. And tomorrow is a good day to really focus on letting go. So letting go of things that are no longer serving you. So keeping that in mind. But today is all about grounding within us. It's nothing spiritual, but it's all about understanding where our body is at today and how you'd like to progress into your week ahead. And with hopefully a lot more groundedness and clarity after the next 20 minutes. So yeah, thank you for joining me, and thank you for spending the time to really connect to you. So, as always, we're following a similar format every week, and every week I have different questions based on what I'm feeling like is going to be the most useful for people watching this video for the week ahead. So, this is a short reset. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to change anything while you're here. It's really advisable if you can pop your phone down, because that will just help you to center in. And as always, make sure you have a cup of tea, glass of water, whatever your preferred beverage is. I love tea so much. Okay. So I'd love you just to begin to be aware of how your shoulders are today. So how much tension are you holding in your shoulders? And you might want to gently move your head side to side, your shoulders either way, up and down, just feeling into your shoulders, feeling into, how your shoulders are feeling. And you might want to just scrunch them up tight, 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 and then release. Scrunch them up tight, 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 and then release. So just and another nice one, with the tip of your tongue just behind the top of your teeth, is just gently moving from side to side, really as slowly as you can, but not back, because back can stretch our neck too wide or too much. So just really tune into your body in terms of these gentle exercises. And so you're just moving your head from one side to another. And I'm doing it too quickly right now, just to show you. But if you can do it just more gently and slowly as you're moving to one side and then another, then to the other side, and just noticing how your body is sitting in the chair, noticing how you are feeling, how everything is for you today. And you might want to move your shoulders forward and back, so you're just opening up your back a bit more. It's really also really nice in terms of really opening oneself to any process, is to open your arms really nice and wide, and just feeling the shoulders like move together. As you're opening, really focus on the shoulder blades pinching together, moving together, and so it's just really creating that openness in the chest. And then also it's amazing for the back and the back muscles at the same time. So just coming back and just taking a nice deep breath into the belly, nice deep breath in, holding, and then gently releasing. And again, nice deep breath into the belly, holding, and then gently releasing. And what I'd love you to do now is we're just going to do a bit of a body scan, and it's incredibly useful to do body scans as much as we can every week, and many times a week, multiple times a day if you can, because that really allows us to understand what is moving, what is happening in the body or not happening. So just gently scan from the top of your head, down your forehead, your nose, your lips, your chin, your neck, your shoulders, your torso, your belly, your legs, down your calves to your feet, your big right toe, your big left toe, your little left toe, your little right toe. And just scanning, and you're not trying to change anything. It's an internal observance. So what I want you to do is just internally observe up and down your body. And today, I want you just to focus on any areas that feel the heaviest. So, what feels the heaviest? What has a particular tightness or grip around you? And just take a breath into that area. So, just take a nice deep breath into the area that's finding where you're finding the tightness. It might also, you might not feel something, but you might see something as well. So seeing is just as useful. So if you see anything internally while you're scanning internally, it might be a particular color or a shape or a memory even. And I just want you just to take a breath into that area. So just taking a nice deep breath into that area. And just make sure your breath, when you're breathing in, your breath is going all the way down to your stomach, expanding your stomach, and then gently, gently releasing. A nice deep breath allows us to come back to the body. And so again, we're not trying to change anything in our internal world. We're just scanning from the top of the head, down the neck, the chin, the torso, the belly, down through the legs, into the toes, into the fingers, and just noticing. Noticing what feels tight, what has a particular color or a sound or a shape. And then when we find it, we bring a breath to it. And the breath is not shallow, it's a nice deep breath. So imagine bringing breath to that area and taking a deep breath in, holding, and then gently, gently releasing. And give that area another couple of deep breaths in your own time. And just noticing anything that may or may not come up while you're doing this process. So noticing whether the area gets tighter or has a bigger shape or a color. It's about being present, because when we get present with areas in our body that are creating some discomfort or dis-ease, we can learn to understand them. And when we understand them, a lot can heal. So this is the start of a process, and what I recommend for all of us to regularly check in as much as we can during the week in terms of what's actually happening in our internal world. And we can just do it as simply as this. And the most important thing is just to observe and not to judge. And when our judgmental mind is coming in to critique, we just gently ask it to take a step back. So just asking it to take a step back, and then again, coming into the breath. And with this area in your body that's attracted this attention for you today, if you can just whisper to this area, thank you. Thank you. And again, taking a nice deep breath in and saying thank you. I might not fully understand you yet, but I want to thank you for the information that you will continue to give me. Thank you. Taking a nice deep breath in, holding, and gently releasing. And in this process, and the more that you do this process, the more information that you will get from your body. And the more you are able to sit with it, you might find that different images come up from the past, and that can give you some information. And this is like a start of a much bigger process that we can do individually, one-on-one, to really guide you and create healing for this or all areas of your body. So when you're ready, just taking another deep breath in. Nice deep breath in. Again, thanking your body for this information. And then coming back to me. And if you have a paper and pen handy, it's time to do the journaling questions. So we have 3 of them today, and I'll pop them in the chat as well as we're going through, so you can read them. Some people are more visual and some people are more oral. So these questions, I'll give you a couple of minutes for each, and I just really want you to go as deep as you can with each of these questions. And you can come back to these questions after this as well, of course. The first question is, if I were to think of weeds in my life as a metaphor for negative beliefs, patterns, or cycles that I've been finding hard to break, what would they be? So thinking about any weeds in your life, any internal weeds, external weeds, what's swimming around you at the moment, what weeds need to be pulled out. Really, really sit with yourself for a moment. You might want to take a deep breath in, close your eyes again, and just really feel into any negative beliefs, patterns, or cycles that could be useful to really pull out this week. So I've popped that in the chat as well, so you can have a look at that. And I'll just give you a minute or so to think about that. And I find it very useful to close my eyes when I'm thinking about any things that I want to pull out of me. Okay, so the next question is, what tools can I use to help me understand, discover, and pull the weeds out of my psyche, body, or mind? So some tools that can be useful are experiential therapy, group therapy, individual parts work like IFS, voice dialogue, etc. And also a good question to start with, which you might want to do right now, is once you've identified any belief, ask, is this really true for my life now? And importantly, write down all the ways it is not true for you. So I'm popping this into the chat and I'm trying to delete. It has a very limited word capacity count for the chat, so I have to break it up into two. So really thinking about how you are going to actually pull the weeds. So the first question was, if there was weeds, what would they be? And the second question is, how can I pull those weeds? How can I make sure I get onto that this week? And when am I going to do that? So you might want to get task focused as well. And then to help you to start off, we have this next question, which is this true for me? So if I find a belief, is this actually true for me? And write down all the ways it isn't true. So for example, if I find a belief in myself that I am not worthy, so I'm not worthy of love, I'm not worthy of attention or care, they're all interrelated. So I would be writing down, well, if I believe this, or if some part of me believes this, what is it that, is it actually true? So, can I find evidence that actually makes it so that it isn't actually true? So what is the evidence? I had a friend who told me the other day that she really liked how I encouraged her. You might want to write down that. And that is evidence to say that, I am worthy of connection. I am worthy of potentially giving advice. And that can lead to discrediting that belief. So all the things you can do, use all examples. And I usually find that this is really helpful to add to over the week, because you think of more examples. Once you write one down, more come. So if anyone's joined us in the last few minutes, we're in the process, in the section of this 20-minute reset of journaling. So we're on to the second question, and we're just about to get onto the third journaling question. So if you've got a paper and pen, you can write down the questions that I've already got in the chat, and then answer this next final question for this week, which is, who do I need to forgive this week? And make sure, though, because a lot of the times when we say you just need to forgive, a lot of people just forgive. The problem is that it's actually internally misaligning, or has some misalignment when we say, oh yeah, I just forgive them, without processing the emotions. So what's really, really important is to process the emotions around that person or the incident. So whatever anger there is, whatever sadness, whatever hurt, whatever fear, it's really important to process it. So allow those emotions out, and you can just write, you can yell into a pillow, you can bash a pillow, and really allow that anger about that person, situation, whatever it is, to come out before you attempt to forgive, because otherwise it's the wrong way around. It's the wrong way around. So, and you won't have fully resolved it internally. So it's so important is emotional release work. Okay. So if you can think of some times this week to do that emotional release work and schedule that in before you forgive someone. And that forgiveness can be internal or external. Sometimes, we just don't have that capacity to externally forgive for whatever reason, but it could be an internal forgiveness. Okay, so we're coming up to the end of the reset. It goes so quickly. So before we finish, I just want you just to check in, close your eyes, take another deep breath into the belly. Nice deep breath in, holding, and then gently releasing. And again, nice deep breath into the belly, holding, and then gently releasing. So just noticing any subtle shifts. It might not be big, but you might notice the subtleness in the areas of your body that might feel tired or whatever else, and just allow anything that needs to be there to be there. Again, thanking yourself for taking the time to get in touch with your body and to get more clear for some of the things that you might want to move through and work through for this week ahead. So thank you so much for joining me as always, and have a beautiful week, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you.